Hi everybody, welcome back to the freaking Jeep Garage. This is Father's Day weekend. I'm just doing some video editing. I didn't really do anything project-wise this weekend, other than I had to work on my the little riding lawnmower from a couple episodes ago. But I'm going to burn up some archive footage from the old shop yet, so that it'll look a little different. In this episode, I took the Banks exhaust off of the white Jeep, and I put it on my Summit because I happen to like the sound of it better. So in this episode, it's basically just a swap of the exhaust, but I had to modify the tips because obviously the Overland has round cutouts and the Summit has these oval diamond-shaped rectangular cutouts. So obviously the round tips don't fit. So with that in mind, let's cut over and get to it. So if you remember back when I put that exhaust on, I did not use the Banks exhaust tips. I used some other ones which are 3x6 instead of the 3x4, 3x5 that come with those. I found, I don't know, I wanted to be different, and I found that these fit in the hole, the cutouts in the exhaust a lot nicer. So with that in mind, you know, I have these, and while this one looks pretty good, it was pretty rusty. I had to take the wire wheel to it to clean them up. So they look okay, but you know, they're 2 years old. And with this one being a Summit, it doesn't have the round cutouts in, or the half moon cutouts like the white Jeep does. So, or like Monkey's Jeep. So these are not going to fit on there. Those are originally shaped like this, D-shaped or trapezoid, whatever you would like to call them. This is what shape they are. Okay, this would be the driver's side, and obviously, here, let me grab this one. This is made up to that 1 7/8" pipe that is original, or 1 3/4" pipe they use originally. It's not going to fit 3-inch. So I have to figure something out. Of course, I can't buy an aftermarket tip to adapt to 3-inch exhaust, so I have to make my own. And I don't have the equipment here myself. We don't have a TIG welder. I don't have stacks of pipe and elbows, and I don't have a hydraulic tubing bender. So I have to make do with what I got. So I took one of these tips and I just cut the edge off the front. That takes the strength out of it, you know, so I can manipulate it. I turned it into this. We'll do a little trimming here once we get it in place to make it match the contours of the Jeep. But yeah, now we've got an oval that does 3-inch. So we're going to stick these on here. And we're going to put the Banks on it because I like the way the Banks sounds. Let's get this thing up in the air and get some lights on and dig into it. It's starting to warm up in here a little bit, but it's still cold. Brr. Okay. Going to attempt to get this apart. Now, it's been on for a year and a half in snow country here. This is Wisconsin, you know, Midwest. I'm going to say rusty. It's got surface rust on it. I took the Banks off and I used wire brush and sandpaper to clean it all up. And I'm going to put a layer of paint on it to make it look nice. This, in my opinion, doesn't look nice anymore. Good news is, it's going to come apart. So let's work on the back section now. We're going to have to get the hangers popped loose, and we'll get those exhaust tips taken off. Now everything I used was stainless steel, whether it's low grade stainless or whatnot. And anyway, it is stainless, so for the most part the stuff comes apart pretty easily, or it should at least. Now this stuff back here, because I put custom tips on, is going to be quite a bit different. Oh, one of these has got to fit. Nope. Try this one. Yep. And these I put on with band clamps. These are great when you want it, especially if we want to take something apart again at some point. For now, we'll set those band clamps aside. Those coupling clamps work really good too, because you can loosen them up, do a little tweaking with them, and tighten them back up. That way you can always have them nice and straight. This will be a sample of what the new will look like. I think it'll fit. It'll look pretty nice back there. Let's get this exhaust apart. So on here, there's a couple of exhaust hangers. There's one up in here in the bumper cover. That one's off. And then there's one right here too. Why don't you guys come in a little closer? There you go. Now you can see there's also one right here that we have to get loose. And then same thing over here on the other side. Let me get that light out of your face. We'll get this one off here. Attempt to, anyway. That one's a little worse for wear, but it works. Let's see what we got here. This one I can pop off. We've got spot to pry off of. And I got this one here. This one don't want to come off quite as easy for whatever reason, but we'll get it. Of course I went and turned the camera off, and then it popped right off. So take this light down. Wiggle, wiggle, and jiggle here a little bit. And we got it off. There, that was the easy fix. Okay, getting that exhaust off really wasn't that bad. Other than the mid-pipe twisting, that's just as you saw, a zap zap. And give it a twist and a couple ugga duggas, and that's where it needs to be. Right now I've got the Banks exhaust paint drying, so we're going to take a lunch break. You guys can pause it here if you need to go eat. When we come back, we'll work on putting the exhaust back on. Okay, I guess I should probably go a little bit more in depth. The reason I'm changing the exhaust isn't because of the exhaust tips themselves. It is the actual diameter of the pipe. The eBay exhaust, which is really for the cost, it's a pretty good kit, but it's like I've said in other videos, it comes with quad tips, and the quad tips really only fit these openings. If you do buy the eBay exhaust, you will need to cut your bumper cover or cut the tips off and replace your tips with something else. Either way is pretty viable. The Jungle website has, you know, some inexpensive exhaust tips that you cut off, put on, grab a couple of clamps, a couple of those coupling band clamps, put it on your Jeep. I'm not going to knock the exhaust. It does work good. I've got it on, obviously I ran on this one. I've got it on the black diesel, EcoDiesel also. The Banks kit now, we'll talk about exhaust diameter. The eBay exhaust is a 2.5-inch tailpipe, and the Banks is a 3-inch tailpipe. Now granted, there isn't that much difference in size. 1/2 inch really ain't much, but it does change the sound. These things sound so much better with a 3-inch exhaust versus the 2.5-inch, in my opinion. And that is why I'm putting the Banks exhaust on this one, because I want the sound. It isn't because of the quad tips or anything. That's fine. I actually changed the quad tips from the ones that were on it to something slightly bigger. The exhaust paint is dry, so we will drag you guys over, and we'll start slipping it together. All right, as you notice, I'm going to grab a stand here first. All right, as you'll notice, this exhaust is black. I painted it with just some high temp engine paint. Put these hangers in place. A little slab of grease on there goes a long ways. This exhaust fits very tight. I'm going to have to do a little hammering. I'm going to make a bunch of noise, so I'll bring you back when I'm done. Okay, it took a little bit of tweaking and some elbow grease and some hammering and a little bit of prying to get the exhaust in place, but it is in there now. I'll have a little bit of touch-up paint to do, but not a big deal. Now we can start working on getting these monster tips put on. Because this, I've had to do a lot of beating on it. The holes are, the end of these of the tips are rather oblong. I'm going to try tweaking this exhaust pipe a little bit, making it oblong. Maybe we can get this tip to slide on. Oh yeah, no problem. Well, it does fit the hole actually pretty nice. I will, however, I think have to extend them a little bit. So we're going to have to get the welder out, maybe buzz on a little, just a little bit, make them stick out a little bit, because we're going to have to trim the tips down a little bit to make them match, or to get the contour. I'd like them to be out here about like this, so it looks like I'm going to have to going to have to add about 3 inches on. So it gives me enough to cut off. Back to the drawing board. Okay, as you can see, I've got the tips mounted, and you can see a little bit of blue on there, maybe a little bit on this one over here. I let the truck down, and I used some painter's tape to give me like the angle of the bumper. So I'm going to take the tips off now, use the cutting wheel, and I'm going to trim the edges nice and straight, and then they'll match the contour of the bumper. But they fit pretty well now. I think they'll look pretty good too. So let's get them down and cut them. As you can see, I'm going to cut this line here with the grinder. Okay, I took the grinder, I cut this all off. You can see now it's cut off at an angle, which follows the contour of the bumper over here. So I'm going to grab a file. I'm just going to smooth these edges out a little bit, make them a little more finger happy. Does that look straight? Yeah, it looks pretty straight. That's one in place. Let's get the other one off and cut. Okay, I got this other side now is cut. I think it's going to fit okay. Do a little polishing on it. Tighten this one up. Make sure it looks straight. I think it looks straight, probably, maybe. Not bad. Could do a little tweak in here, but that's about it. Let me see if I can find the bar to stick in there. I'm just trying to get kind of an even spacing here. Using my fingers as a gauge. Feels pretty good. Looks pretty good too. Speaking of sound, let's let this thing down and let's hear it. Now for this one, we'll let that thing down, but we're going to put the microphone on the camera instead of my lapel mic, and we'll see how it sounds. Sounds a whole lot different than what it did, doesn't it? Well, if I can find a clip of what it sounded like previously, I'll stab that in here. Okay, we've got that done. It sounds great. That doesn't look too bad either. Those are those openings are very difficult to find something to match. But me personally, I like the sound of the Banks exhaust. That 3-inch just sounds throatier, deeper, better than the 2.5. In reality, there ain't much performance gains between the two that I can notice driving. It's mostly preference on sound. The 3-inch does sound different than the 2.5. Other than that, you know, it's here, neither here nor there. Speaking of the Banks system, I do have the originals. I saved those as just in case I might need them on another project. And well, I might need them on the white Jeep when I put this exhaust on. It's either these, or I have technically 4 of these that I cut off of that eBay exhaust originally. I didn't like the looks. They're a little bit small. I like the little bit larger diameter tailpipes just for the look. But I do have these. This is an actual 2.5. Those are actually 3-inch. So I will have to buy some, I would have to buy some pipe and reducers for that. These, I just have to weld on a piece of pipe, 2.5-inch pipe, and I can adapt them on there with those coupling clamps, band clamps, and put these right on. And these will fit in the opening okay too. They just won't fill it like the big ones did. But that'll be another project, another day. So I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Oh yeah, remember, build it bigger, better, faster. Just build it. And subscribe. Thanks. Bye.